Today, I'm going to talk to you about why you want to work out but don't. And I'm going to begin by explaining what this feeling truly is. What does it mean? What does it come down to? And then I'm going to walk you through a process, a framework, if you will, for change, for how to have a breakthrough and overcome those feelings of resistance that you may feel within you. So, what does this feeling come down to? Why is it that you want to work out, you want to prioritize your health, you want to eat healthy, you want to go to the gym, you want to do all these different things, but you never seem to take action? You seem to put it off, you seem to delay, you seem to procrastinate. What does that come down to? Well, we can sum up that feeling in one word, which is ambivalence. And ambivalence simply is the state of having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. And so going forward with this, essentially this is the state that we're in. We want to change, but at the same time we don't. We want to go to the gym, but we don't. And so let's now dive into the process or the framework for change. How do you actually step forward and take the action that's required? How do you actually start going to the gym and change that want or that desire into true reality and action that you're taking? So let's outline this framework. And much of this comes from Tony Robbins in terms of the overarching steps. And I'm going to fill in with some details and some examples that hopefully will provide some clarity and illuminate many of the points so that they stick to your ribs, so to speak. So let's begin with the first step. The first step is to outline what you want and why. Now, this is a first and simple yet very critical step. So essentially what we're doing here is you're writing down your goals with great clarity, not allowing them to stay fuzzy or unclear, floating around in your mind, but clearly writing down with pen and paper, pencil and paper, what is it that you want and why do you want that? Now, here's a critical point in the process of doing this that I've discovered and that I've realized. In all the people that I've trained over the past nearly decade that I've been coaching people, what I've found really leads to change is when you frame your goals and perhaps the reality of your feeling in terms of pursuing your goals is that they are a need versus a want. There are many people who want things. They want to, have a six-pack. They want to get in great shape for their wedding or get in great shape for a summer vacation. They want these things. What I've found to be true is that the people who actually take the requisite action to actually make the change are the people who see the change that they want to make as an actual need. It's not a want, it truly feels, and they verbalize it, they communicate it as a need. So let me give you an example. Just in the simplicity of language, you have client A or person A and person B. And person A says, yeah, I want to get in shape. I want to be healthier. And person B says, on the contrary, I need to get in shape. I must do this. And the power in just the simple difference of those words is cannot be understated. And similarly, and this particularly applies to nutrition, when people say they can't do something versus they don't do something, what do I mean by that? Oh, I can't eat that kind of food. I'm on a diet. I can't eat that. I can't eat McDonald's. Now, what's the difference, you think, between someone who says, I can't eat McDonald's versus I don't eat McDonald's? What's the difference? The difference is that the people who say they don't, that conviction that they have has reached a level of their identity. It's something that they don't do. I'm not a person who does this. I'm not a person who drinks alcohol. I am a person who goes to the gym. And when it reaches that level of your identity and your very being of, hey, this is who I am, I'm drawing a line in the sand, this is what I do, this is what I don't do, that is when you really start to make a change. And so going back to the overarching point, when you outline what you want and why, keep this in mind. Keep it in mind that this really has to be a strong conviction that you have in order to get yourself to go from where you are to where you want to be. It has to have such a strong pull that you will go through the rigors, you'll go through the disciplines, you will take action, even being void of motivation, to get the job done. So that is the first step. Outline what you want and why. Moving forward to the next step, it is to write down what's stopping you. So again, pen and paper. Don't let it be fuzzy. Don't let it float around in your mind. What is stopping you? It might be fear. It might be fear of success. It might be fear of failure. Hey, I told people I was going to get in shape. I haven't done it yet. What happens if I do get in shape? Are people going to lose some love for me? Are they going to gossip about me? Are they going to make fun of me? Are they going to point fingers? Oh, James thinks he's too good for us now. Rachel thinks she's way too good for us now. Oh, okay. All right, I see how it is. So is it a fear? Are there limiting beliefs that you might have? Or are you genuinely missing a skill that's required to achieve success? So evaluate. Really take some time and flesh it out and figure out what is really stopping you. What's getting in your way? Are you overthinking? Are you procrastinating? Are you too concerned with comfort? Jot all of these things down. The next step is then, once you've identified what's stopping you, then you need to be honest. And this is where accountability kicks in. And the importance, as I mentioned earlier, of language. And now you want to ensure that you are using what we might call accountability language. So in being careful with your language, what I would encourage you to do is to audit the words that you use and be very careful in what you're saying to make sure that you have placed the proper responsibility and credit to the actions that you have taken or have not taken, the actions that you have successfully taken or the actions you have failed to take. So let's give an example. The most common excuse that we all hear when it comes to working out is what? I don't have time. What you are really saying when you're saying I don't have time is I have other higher priorities. I have different priorities. Exercise, while perhaps somewhat important to me, is not important enough to actually dedicate and invest the time into. So change your wording. Don't just, pass it off as something that's not important. I don't have time. Yeah, I know what it means, but I'm gonna just keep saying I don't have time. No. Tell yourself the truth. I have other priorities, and that is evident by the actions that I am taking. I'm not going to the gym, so it must mean that other things are more important to me. Comfort is more important to me. Working that extra hour, but forsaking my own health, that's more important to me. Whatever it is, be honest with yourself. Another example, I've tried everything. I've tried every diet. I've tried every workout routine. Haven't been successful. Well, again, accountability language. That cannot possibly be true. How do we know that? Well, if it were true, then it would be impossible for anyone else to achieve the goals that you have. But they have. And probably under more difficult circumstances. Probably with greater challenges. Because if you've literally tried everything, then that must mean that there is no pathway to success. Hey, I've tried everything. I've tried to fly. I've tried to overcome gravity. Nope, can't do it. Well, on the contrary, some people have kind of figured it out. Figured out how to attain flight. And so, again, going back to accountability language, essentially what it means is that if someone has achieved success in an area that you want to, but you're telling yourself I've tried everything, then in effect, you're coddling yourself. You're telling yourself a lie to make yourself feel comfortable with the fact that you have lost determination. You've lost the will to persist and try the next thing, to seek the guidance of experts and continue going forward. So be careful with your language and be honest with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Now that we've gone through that process with step 3, let's move on to step 4, which is to develop a plan of action. Now, taking action, getting right to it, I'm a big proponent of. and trying to minimize the overanalyzing and over planning, especially when things are very simple, like diet and exercise. But going through this process, developing a plan of action, what does that consist of? Well, I believe it starts by engaging in a simultaneous process. We're doing two things at once. Number one is doing all of what you already know is right. Doing all of what you already know is right. The things that you are certain of. Begin doing those things. Simultaneously, you will continue to seek the wisdom and insight and expertise of experts. And so going through this process, what does the first part mean? Doing all of what you already know is right. Well, I think we already know that broccoli is healthier than chocolate cake. We all know that. But which one are we consistently choosing? We all know that weightlifting is good for us. We know that we should drink more water and drink less juice or soda, less alcohol, or cut out alcohol entirely, as I would recommend. But are we doing those things? So that is the first step that we're taking. Simultaneously, we are seeking the advice of the people, as I alluded to in the last step, who have somehow, from our purview perhaps, miraculously figured this thing out. I want to get in shape. I'm going to ask the advice of someone who's been in shape for decades. That makes sense. And so you're already taking the right actions, and you're continue to solicit the advice and the wisdom of people who have already achieved an outcome that you desire, and they've sustained it. And so they can point you in the right direction and say, hey, yes, you're doing the right thing. Keep going. After this long, you should start to see some results. Oh no, you need to change your approach entirely. Yeah, you're not doing the right thing. Pivot, make this adjustment. You'll be good to go. And so when you go through this process, you're taking action on what you already know is right. You're not delaying. You're not waiting to try and get all the answers. You're learning on the job, so to speak. And so this is the process in terms of developing a plan of action. Outline what you already know is right. And as you accumulate new insights from the experts, then add that to your blueprint, add that to your plan of action. Now, final point here. One of the main themes that I have for this channel in terms of health and wellness especially is to prioritize, especially in the beginning of your journey, consistency over intensity. What does that mean and why is it important? The perhaps most common pitfall that I see people fall into time and time again is that they confuse themselves for being serious by not working out for years or months, or it's touch and go. Maybe they work out a few times a month, and then they suddenly say, I'm motivated, I'm sick and tired, and now I'm going to work out 6 days a week. Each session is going to be 2 hours. I'll be on the elliptical for an hour, all these sort of things. And they keep it up for 2 weeks, and then they're done, and then they give up. You have to establish a rhythm of consistency first. So in developing your plan of action, consider this. Be real with yourself. Again, tell yourself the truth. What can you truly commit to every single day? What is the plan that you're going to outline that you can actually do consistently? And I define consistency ideally as 80% compliance or higher. So if I plan to do 5 workouts, I have to at least be doing 4 every single week. Now, my recommendation personally to you is to exercise every day. Now, that could be a walk, that could be a jump rope, as you're seeing here in this video, or lifting weights, or what have you, but doing something every day. That's my recommendation. But in any case, even if you're doing something every day, then to start, perhaps you dial down the time. You're only doing 15 minutes. Or you're doing a lower intensity so you're not sore for 5 days after and you can't do something every day. So adjust accordingly, and what you'll find is as you stay consistent, you're going to start to reap the fruits of these activities. You're going to feel better, have more energy, feel stronger, loose, limber, and you're going to feel a sense of confidence and a sense of accomplishment that, hey, I've actually really been sticking with this. And that is where the intensity kicks in. So by that point, you have consistency and intensity. But do not start with intensity, as it makes it very, very difficult to then bring along consistency versus the other way around. Okay? So that is that step. And carrying along here, wrapping up, is to simply get to work. Have a daily practice. As I said, working out every day is a part of this, but have a daily practice that recenters your focus, that keeps your eyes on the prize. So whether it's simply revisiting your goals or a certain habit or a ritual that you put into play that recenters your focus, that gets you back dialed into the proper mindset. And I would say the proper mindset is the one in which you are leaning into that mindset that wants to work out. And you're not at the mercy of the one that ends up failing to take action. So one thing that I've done that I would recommend, and this comes from Earl Nightingale and many others have talked about it as well, is to pull out a small sheet of paper. Maybe you take a Post-it note or a small corner of a 8.5 by 11 sheet, and you're going to write down your goal on a small sheet of paper, and you're going to keep it in your pocket. Look at it throughout the day, in the morning, in the evening, whenever you get a moment, whenever you remember, but look at it multiple times throughout the day. And essentially what you're doing is you're going to phrase your goal as someone or something you are becoming. I'm becoming a millionaire. I'm becoming an elite athlete. I'm becoming a college graduate with honors. So in any case, write down who you are aspiring to become. And in doing so, your actions, as you look at that reminder every day, multiple times throughout the day, that reminder will inform the proper actions that you have to take to become that person you aspire to become. So I hope that has served you well with this message. And biggest thing that I can say is follow this pathway. Get started with this sequence and go through the proper steps to achieve success. I am wishing you much success, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay blessed by the best. Take care.